Why is this not working? There we go. We are live. Okay. All right. Do a sound check. Make sure we can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You hear me? I believe we can hear me. Okay, so let's check the other app. Let's check over here. And then we are good to go. Good to go. Good to go. Okay, so we are good to go. All right, come on in, say hello, let me know where you are watching from. I am excited to be live and chatting with you a little later in the day than normal, but that's the way today's schedule works. So here we are. Coming in, let me know where you are watching from. I love to chat with you. If you are not, you definitely want to make sure you click that follow button and subscribe, follow, whatever it is, for all things marketing, mindset, monetization, and mentoring. Okay. So we are going to talk about what has kept me busy in this past week, and that is shoppable video. There's been a lot. I mean, like days worth of days worth of days worth of Zooms and connecting and learning and sharing how great shoppable video is and how it is basically the future, right? Because one thing I know, one thing for certain, two things for sure, people are a little more than tired of dealing with some of these platforms and all of their foolishness about being able to be seen, about visibility. And, I really don't think people get shadow banned as much as they think they do. However, I think it's just really more so platforms are more pay to play to pay than they ever pay to play than they ever have been. And they're going to be more so increasingly, especially if they are able to get the Clock app banned. Now, in the last week, we have seen some great news with the Clock app, and that is the fact that it is back in the App Store for iPhone users, right? It is back in the App Store for iPhone users because the ByteDance was like, no, we are not putting it back on the app. Actually, the Apple was like, we're not putting it back in our store unless we have in writing, basically from the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, or somebody, that if they that they won't come after them, right? And so they got that letter from the, I believe, Attorney General of the United States, and so it is now back in the store. However, there are still several challenges. Y'all need to understand that there are still several challenges that the Clock app is not out of the woods, right? When I ran it through ChatGPT again, there's still a very high probability that everything that needs to happen legally to save the app is just not going to happen, right? Because for one, they're still dealing with the I did not bring my fan over here. I don't even know where my fan is, and I am sweating, and I got two windows open. And so they, the one of the two biggest things with TikTok and whether or not it's going to be banned. Okay. Number one is the fact that it has to be a fast sale, right? It has to be a fast sale. And I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. I think y'all know by now, Facebook has definitely not bought TikTok, right? and they're just not really even on the list to buy it because of the Sherman Antitrust Act, right? You can go back and watch my other videos. We have beat that horse to the death, right? We have beat that horse to the death, right? So Facebook is just not even a contender. The only tech companies that could be in the running are like Oracle and that. And Oracle was said to be at the table, but ByteDance got a little, really the Chinese government, they got in their feelings about that whole tariff situation. Okay. They got in their feelings about that whole tariff situation. So they're not really in the negotiating mindset or space. Because the other thing a lot of people don't realize is the US is a really small portion of their overall profitability and business, right? So they have said for a very long time that they are willing to let it shutter, right? To let it shutter because it's just not that big of a deal. The other issue is, aside from a fast sale, which we know from my previous videos, the sale of something as large as TikTok, on average, you're looking at 23 months, right? And so they might be able to make some things shake and move because that's their privilege. That's what they're able to do. However, they still can't get around Sherman Antitrust. So you're looking at least 23 months for something like Facebook. Now, like a Walmart or a Oracle might be able to get it done sooner than that. So let's assume Oracle or Microsoft are able to get it done in the time frame. The other challenge is going to be ByteDance has to delete the source code. And they have said that, number one, deleting it might break their system altogether. And that might be a problem for them altogether to delete it. And assuming it wasn't a problem for them altogether, it would still take up to 3 years to delete that source code. So I don't know. I mean, y'all King, because he declared himself king on Instagram yesterday, he may be able to somehow, through his dictator abilities, because he seems to think he has them, be able to do something about that. I'm not quite sure because we still have a 3-branch government system, which I keep trying to tell y'all. And all you have to do is go to YouTube and Google Schoolhouse Rock, that used to come on Saturdays in the 80s, and you will learn about I'm Just a Bill on Capitol Hill and how all that works. So needless to say, I say all of that so that you understand that if you are, like, personally, I've really gone in on the TikTok Shop affiliate program since the beginning of the year, and I found money that I didn't even know that I had today. So I'm really digging the TikTok Shop affiliate. I honestly would hate to see TikTok go. So please don't take this as she's being a hater. No, because it's honestly my favorite platform. I love the algorithm. I love building the community. I love being a TikTok Shop affiliate. It is where I get a lot of my news and information. So selfishly, I do not want the app to go anywhere. I don't know that a lot of us, especially who use it, do, right? I don't know that we really want to see it go anywhere. But also, I am grounded in reality. Okay. I'm also grounded in reality, grounded in what is. Now, I'm open to, the miracles. I'm open to some miracle where it will still be around. But as a business woman, as una mujer de negocios, it is very important that you be building contingencies. You have to that you have to maneuver strategically as a businesswoman, okay? And so as a businesswoman, I would not be putting all of my eggs in TikTok baskets. I would not be putting all of my eggs, pun intended, in TikTok Shop. I would be getting my content on other platforms. Okay. Would you agree? Can you let me know in the comments? Would you agree with that? That it is a wise decision right now to not just be putting your content on TikTok? because that's what I've seen. I've seen ever since TikTok came back, a lot, I'd say most people, most creators are kind of back to business as normal. And that's a very dangerous place to be, right? I think one of the other side effects, the consequences of that less than 24-hour erasure of the clock app is that people are beginning to pay more attention to how the algorithms work. And there is a heightened awareness of a new brand of censorship, which you kind of should expect with the administration that took over late last January, right? And again, you have to have strategic thinking and strategy in place. And I get it. Not everyone is a strategic thinker. I get it. And that is why I create my courses. That is why I coach. That is why I am a consultant with over 32 years, going on 33 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. I always say my mind is worth millions. It literally is worth millions because I think longer range, more strategic than most people. Okay. What do I mean by that? For example, I have a strategy that I teach inside of Pin Profits Mastery that is all around owning your masters. If you know the Ray Charles story, you know what owning your masters means. You will know that Michael Jackson owned the Beatles anthology, their masters, right? You want to own your master file, right? I spoke at the Divorce Transition Professionals chapter meeting of Southern California 2 days ago, and that came up. Neil, the founder of the organization, very nice gentleman. He was like, well, we don't own social media. I'm like, we absolutely do not own social media. So why would you put your content or create your content on social media without keeping a copy of that content somewhere? See, again, you have to think like a business owner. If you are a multiple six-figure content creator and you are not housing masters of your content somewhere else, well, maybe you just weren't of adult age to remember September 11th and the data problem that posed and all of the laws and things that came out of that, right? And so working in financial services, remember, I was a licensed financial professional for several years, nearly a decade. I know that your large financial institutions, because of what happened with Cantor Fitzgerald, you can Google it, you can Wikipedia it. They have to have duplicates of their servers and in undisclosed locations. And in those locations, that those servers have to be maintained at a certain temperature. That is called contingency. That is called strategic operations, strategic thinking. So me knowing that, I apply that to my business. And my content is in multiple places. Now, I ain't telling you where my vault's at. That ain't your business. That's my business. Okay? That's my business, right? But I keep masters of my content. I'm not going to say for 100% of my content, but 80 to 90% of my content, I have the masters, meaning there's no platform logo on there. And often I don't even have words on there. That way I can reuse it, repurpose it, reshare it, redistribute it very easily, right? So what does that mean? I operate like a business because that's just me, right? We call my daddy, what's his name from A Christmas Story? Griswold. We called my daddy Griswold, right? That's the way my parents raised me. So I don't really half-ass do anything. I just don't. Okay. So when I create a piece of content, I am looking to be able to use that content as many times as I want to without anybody's logo on it, without words being on it, because it's going to save me time, right? Because my time is my most valuable asset. And I got two gorgeous grandbabies that when they want my time, they get my time. point blank period, end of discussion. So the name of the game is to work smarter, not harder. So I own my content. I don't leave it on a platform. That night of January 19th, between January 17th and January 19th, the number of creators who were hustling and looking for solutions to get their content off of a Clock app was insane to me. And I didn't have to do it because I already owned my masters. And so that's what I work with my clients to do, is to own their masters. And inside of Pen Profits Mastery, module 6, which it was actually originally only supposed to be a 5-module course, we added a module on, actually one of the other modules I wound up breaking into 2 modules, and then added module 6 on the tail end, which is repurposing, resharing, and redistributing your content. Because you got to work smarter, not harder. So you got to own your masters. You don't own any of these social media platforms. If they turn the lights off right now, is your content protected? Okay. Like I said, I operate like a business. My content is in 3 different places, actually 4. I've got content across 1, 2, 3, at least 4 places. There's actually a couple more, but so the other thing that I work with my clients and I teach my clients is to have your pair and a spare, right? I read that in a dating book over a decade ago, right? When a woman is dating, she should have a pair and a spare. That way she doesn't get attached to anyone. Because I'm an Aquarius. Aquarius, we don't really date. We move like this. Like, you like me, I like you. Let's just be boyfriend and girlfriend. We will like to try to skip the entire thing. Now, I don't do that anymore because at my big age, I know better. However, historically, and I have a very good friend who's now happily married and having another baby. Congrats, girl. Her and I have had this discussion because she's also an Aquarius, where it's like, we just like skip all that, like just let's just go straight to that, right? And so you got to understand, I forgot what I was talking about. And I hate when that happens because I went down the road of your pair and a spare, right? Okay, so your pair and a spare, that's what we were talking about. So your pair and a spare, right? So the number one thing you need to do is you need to know who owns what. Okay. And that is why on my list of top skills to learn for 2025, financial literacy is nearly at the top. It's pretty close to the top, if not the top. Right. I think it's only beneath like growing some of your own food in, and things like that, right? Learning how to cook if you don't know how to cook. But you need to know financial literacy. You need to know how to look these companies up, not only on their website, but look up investor information on these companies. You would know a whole lot if you did that. I am the queen. Not only can I read an annual report, I know exactly where to go to get what I want. Okay. You got to learn things like, what do they mean by what is the Dow Jones? What is the, S&P 500? What does market capitalization mean? What does they close the day mean? You need to learn these things. I got to stop putting off. And on my list is to learn more about crypto, right? You need to know what a commodity is, because you need financial literacy in order to be able to navigate some of this stuff. Because if you did, y'all wouldn't have been thinking that Facebook bought TikTok. You would know that that's just not possible. That's just not possible, right? I know there's drama with Hillman Talk. I know there's drama with that, right? But if you had any type of business acumen, and remember, a lot of people own small businesses, but they're not actually business people. And I don't say that to be mean. I'm just keeping it 1,000 real with you. Not everyone who owns a small business is actually a business person, right? They may know the day-to-day operations, and they're usually drowning in the day-to-day operations of their own business. They don't necessarily know business at the macro level like I do. Okay, because I studied it. I've got a bachelor's degree in it. I've got multiple master's degrees, and I got over 22 years of solid corporate experience with Fortune 500, Fortune 100, Fortune 20 firms. I've worked with there. I can think of some of the most major brands out there that you come in contact with on a daily basis that I have either worked for the company or worked with that brand in some sort of capacity as a vendor, as a contractor, or as an employee. Okay. And so owning your masters and not putting all your eggs in one basket means that you understand who owns what. If you go to Google and you look Google up, you will understand that Google is not only the world's largest search engine, they own the world's second largest search engine, and it happens to be video. So let me know in the comments if you know what company, what social media platform I'm talking about that Google owns. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what platform Google owns. It's finally showing me all of y'all. So let me know in the comments. What does Google own? They own one of the social media platforms. Facebook is no longer the name of the company. It hasn't been for several years, even though even I often still refer to the company as Facebook. The company is actually Meta. Do you know what all Meta owns? Right? Meta owns Facebook. Meta bought Instagram in like 2011, and they own WhatsApp. And they also now have Threads. They also have those funny glasses and all of that stuff. So back to Google. Google is the world's largest search engine. What do they own? They own YouTube. So when I say a pair and a spare, your pair, which is your primary and your secondary platform, my rule is that they cannot be owned by the same entity. Why is that, Tamira? Well, do you recall those days when all of Meta's platforms were out? So if when they have that system-wide outage, if your primary and secondary are owned by the same company, the same conglomerate, you're SOL for the day, especially if you're not building an email list. So you have to know who owns what. Now you wouldn't do your primary as Facebook, your secondary as Instagram. You could do your primary as Facebook, your secondary as YouTube, and then your spare is Instagram. You could do Facebook as your primary, TikTok is your secondary, Instagram is your spare. The whole name of the game is omnipresence, to have a presence across multiple platforms. Why? Because platforms do have outages. And as we've seen, the government will go after platforms. That's why Facebook and Mark have been bending the knee this year. That's why. Okay. So you have to have your pair and you have to have a spare. Your pair cannot be owned by the same company. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. It's just not a good strategy. And you'll find out and you'll be like, man, I should have listened to her. She was right. Oh, girl knew what she was talking about. Yes, she did and do. Okay. So your pair and a spare and know who owns what. The easiest way to do that is, like I said, you got to go to Investopedia and start learning about these companies and start reading annual reports. Read annual reports. You can, the quarterly calls, when they do their quarterly calls, everyone that is traded, publicly traded, every quarter they do a call for their stockholders. And anybody can listen in on them. If you work for one of these companies, you should be reading the annual report. You should be getting the quarterly press releases. Listen, if you work for one of these companies, if you have restricted stock units, if you get a portion of your bonus in restricted stock units, if you get company stock as part of your compensation plan, if you have a 401k, it is not okay for you to not have this type of financial literacy. Again, I'm never going to lie to you. It is not okay for you to not know this stuff. It is publicly available information. It's publicly available. You can go to Yahoo Finance right now. You can go to Investopedia. You can go to MarketWatch. You can go to CNBC. And I believe the stock symbol for Walmart, for example, is still WMT. So I can even just go to Google and type in WMT and boom, right there. First thing that pre-populates is WMT stock. And it's going to tell you the stock price. Walmart closed the day at $97.21, which is down $6.79 or 6.53%. And it's still trading in after hours, right? Now, what you can do is you can go to the Walmart website. Let me actually share my screen here on this other app here. You can go to the Walmart website. And usually if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, if you can get to the bottom of Walmart, there it is. Okay, so we're looking for either about, or it's usually very plainly labeled as investor relations. I don't see investor relations, but I see our company. So we're going to go to our company. And we're waiting for that to pull up. And there it is, investors. So we're going to go to investors. Okay. So there's events. Remember, I told you you can listen in on the quarterly calls. So you can go to the events page and you can find out when their next quarterly call will be. It's probably going to be in May 15th. Do I know what I'm talking about, or do I know what I'm talking about, right? And then you can go to stock information. Quote and chart. Right? So it's going to look very similar to what you would see on MarketWatch, CNBC, Investopedia. And then there is SEC filings there, okay? That's where you're typically going to find different forms and statements that they have to legally complete. Legally complete. Let's go to financial info. There's financial results, right? So there's the earnings release. I'm looking for annual report. So what I could also do is I can go to Google and I could type in Walmart 2024 annual report. It continues to write it for me. And boom, right there at the top of the list is Walmart Inc. 2024 annual report. And you can read and you can learn a lot about a company. If you are interviewing for a job at any of these companies, I highly suggest you do what I've just done. As an interviewing manager at a Fortune 20 company, I was amazed at the simple, basic questions I would ask someone in an interview, like, what do you know about our company? And they knew absolutely nothing, but they were sitting there in an interview. I'm going to be honest with you, that's weird. But sometimes the job market, you got to take what you can get. But if it were up to me, I would never hire a person who didn't take the initiative to go and look this stuff up. I ain't saying you got to be a financial whiz. But here, let's look at some of what's in this, okay? So there's a message from our CEO. I love reading the letters from the CEO. That will tell you a lot about the direction and vision of the company, right? And then you will know if the company is in financial trouble, if the company is, facing, sometimes you will discover if they're facing or they had to pay out a lot in lawsuits and what those lawsuits were related to. Y'all got to do a better job of knowing who you're working for. That's just my personal opinion. my professional opinion, right? So you can go through here and it's going to tell you all kinds of information. And here's the great thing. Y'all have something that I never had back in the day. Y'all got ChatGPT. Y'all got DeepSeek. So you can download this PDF and you can upload it to ChatGPT and have it summarize it for you. Now, I would still read it because ChatGPT sometimes be, I don't know, she be drunk or what. She be on that powder. I don't know. But here. There. So now y'all can see the annual report. My bad. I thought it was showing you. Okay. So you can upload it to ChatGPT. For kicks and giggles, let's do that. Let's download it. And let's come over here and open a chat.openai. And we're going to upload the computer. And we're going to say summarize this annual report. I know we're a little off from what the title of the video is, but this is good stuff. All right, so you see right there, it's summarizing it. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you can see this. It's on my channel on the video because I'm cross streaming, right? So you can see it there. Okay. So the CEO's message: Walmart continues to focus on people-led, tech-powered omni-channel strategy. The company ended the year with strong momentum, focusing on innovation while staying true to its core values. Okay. Financial performance highlights revenue growth. Okay. So if you don't know what revenue is, you ask it, what is revenue? You go to the dictionary. I recommend Investopedia.com. Okay. Revenue growth, a 6% increase year over year. Revenue is money that a company has coming in, typically from the sale of a good or a product or service. Okay. It is what's called top line number. So they increased their revenue 6% last year, and their e-commerce sales, that's all that online stuff, apps and all of that, reached $100 billion. They improved returns by 200 basis points. I know what a basis point is. I'm not even going to try to explain it to you. You can look that up, right? Membership income, because they own what? Sam's Club, increased by 20%. So you can do this. I'm not going to go through every single point here, right? But it's going to tell you they've got sustainability initiatives. They've got stock market performance. They've got stock performance and shareholder returns. So it breaks it down for you. I still suggest you actually look at the report and attempt to read the report and learn how to read the report, on top of having ChatGPT summarize it for you. But if you work at one of these companies, you need to know what's going on with where you're working, because your boss don't always even know, and they ain't going to be talking about it with you, right? You might be in a position where, in my case, like 40% of my annual pay was based on an annual bonus, right? So I could be going for an annual bonus of anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 a year back then. Right. And so once it got over, I think $25,000, they actually try to ding you off of that 40 or 50,000 as much as they can. They try to walk you back from that as much as they can. Right. So, you know, a player like me, they'll go for everything. She's getting as much as she can get. Right. So when you get to that max amount, it is in writing that a certain percentage of that is going to be in what's called restricted stock, right? And so restricted stock units mean that you have a vesting schedule. Just like often with your 401k, the match is not 100% yours until you've proven yourself by remaining employed with them for so long. So your restricted stock units are to prevent you from getting your bonus and jumping ship and going somewhere else. Now, other people ain't going to be this real with you and break it down to the very last compound like this, but I am, because I can. So your restricted stock units are designed to keep you from, okay, I'm going to stick this out. I'm going to get my bonus. I'm going to go and leverage this year's performance and go get a higher base, a higher bonus, a sign-on bonus somewhere else, and I'm out. Right? Now, some people will walk away from that depending on the amount. They'll leave the restricted stock units there. That some people will do that, right? And so the vesting could be complex. It can be you get access to half of it, meaning you can cash it out in a year. You can cash out half of it. So say you got $5,000 worth of restricted stock units. In a year, you can cash out 2,500 of it. And then in 2 years, you can cash out the other half or all of it if you haven't cashed out any of it. So this is why you need to be in these annual reports. This is why you might want to go into work early or even sit in your car before your shift or act like you got a doctor's appointment. I wouldn't. I would just sit there and listen to it while I'm at work. That's what I used to do, and listen to those investor calls. Right? I would also suggest that you go to Google and you set up an alert for the company that you work for if it is a publicly traded company. You will be amazed at what you will learn before you learn about it at work if you do that. Like when they acquire or bail out other companies, go to Google and set that alert up. Go to Google and set up alerts for your industry. Set up alerts for the competitors, because you might want to go work at a competitor. But stop going into these interviews, stop leaving your 401k just not knowing what's happening. You need to know the basics. I ain't saying you got to know everything. I ain't saying you got to be a financial advisor or plan on going in and arguing with your financial advisor. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss at all. Okay, so there's our little financial literacy lesson for the day. I really didn't come on here to like showboat all of that, but now that I've sat here and educated y'all on all of that, I do remember I am that girl. But okay, anyway, so you got to know these companies and you need to know who they are owned by, right? Most of them these days are publicly traded. I think even Snapchat has had an IPO, an initial public offering. Okay. So Pinterest is publicly traded. Google owns YouTube. Meta owns Instagram and WhatsApp. TikTok, they're not a publicly traded company as far as I'm aware. Let's put in TikTok stock. Yeah, it's not publicly traded. But they have all these different like venture capitalist type owners and stuff like that. So, but you need to know this stuff, right? And it needs to be part of your strategy and how you move. Moving in ignorance is just not an option, especially when you have a super powered computer in the palm of your hand by way of your phone. You have an iPad, you have a laptop, right? You can speed learn, right? I like to think of ChatGPT as in one of my favorite movies ever. Trivia question. One of my favorite movies ever, the original Matrix, right? When they programmed Neo to learn Kung Fu and Jiu-Jitsu. ChatGPT is that for you. But most of y'all are not using it in that way. And it's absolutely wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. Okay. You can learn, you can tell ChatGPT you want to learn the basics of the stock market over the next 7 days, next 28 days, next 30 days, and it will develop a curriculum and teach you the basics of the stock market. Now, I cannot stress enough, I definitely recommend Investopedia.com, MarketWatch, and CNBC. Motley Fool is another one. So is Yahoo Finance. Those are the 5. See how much value I bring to y'all? See how much value, right? Now I want to point out something from the Walmart annual report for 2024. E-commerce was highlighted in the summarization, which means it was highlighted in the report. So if Walmart I closed it down, but we said something about 100 billion in revenue. At Walmart, $100 billion in revenue company per year is highlighting e-commerce in their annual report. And you are a local small business, you might want to have an e-commerce strategy. If you are a small online marketer, you should definitely have an e-commerce strategy. Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? You need an e-commerce strategy, right? Did you know companies like Walmart, Amazon, Etsy are integrating with these social media platforms so that when you see an ad, you can buy what is in that ad without leaving the app. I met with the mom of an owner of a e-commerce provider that, they get a lot of customers who are bridal customers looking for bridal party favors, and they primarily use Etsy, and they also have their own website, and they do some things on the Zon as well. And so I spoke her language, which is you can upload your catalog to Pinterest and you will get real-time data. And if you have no inventory, it will reflect on Pinterest as well. But you can create pins that are going to be fulfilling from your Etsy, and they won't have to leave Pinterest at all. It's the same with the Zon. If Walmart is not doing it yet, they will be. I'm not a big Walmart shopper, even online, so I don't know about Walmart, right? I imagine, usually they work in phases. So they've got Etsy, they've got Amazon. So your big box retailers are probably going to be doing the same thing at some point in the near future. That's your Target, that's your Walmart, possibly even Home Depot and Lowe's too. You've got to think a lot bigger than you're currently thinking. And that is why my clients hire me, right? That is what makes me different than the Lambos and the Birkins. Because I've got the 22 plus years of corporate experience, business to business, business to consumer, and a very strong financial services background, and formally licensed in both financial, 663, along with life, accident, and health. So I've got a wealth of knowledge. Just because I don't talk about it online doesn't mean I don't have it. In fact, most of what you hear online is complete bullshit. It's a lot of scammers. A lot of scammers scamming you, lying to you, a lot, right? Because a true financial services professional is never going to give you blanket advice like what is often given on social media because of ethics, their licenses, and their livelihood. And that is also why there is such a big push for crypto right now, because it is not regulated. And that is why rug pulls are happening. Just saying. Just saying. So the future of social media, shoppable video. I've been screaming it for multiple years. Shoppable video. Shoppable video. As I've been saying in meeting with prospective clients this week, to a degree, especially like when you look on the Clock app and you look at some of these lives, and there are lives like this one girl went live for 24 hours and grossed like $1 million in sales or something like that. Number one, shoppable video is going to be one of the top ways to get visibility until they, figure out how to take more of your money, until they start, because that's what they do. It's wide open and then it contracts. That's a financial word, by the way. It contracts. They leave it wide open to get more people using it and get it working. And then as it becomes more and more successful, there's more barriers to entry. That's also a business word. That is a financial word, barriers to entry. Okay. So it's wide open right now. But as it becomes more and more successful, that quote unquote algorithm is going to get tighter and tighter. It's going to contract to force people to do things like buy ads and other things like that, so that they can make their money and keep their investors happy. Because just because they don't have shareholders doesn't mean they don't have owners and shareholders. I mean, investors and even private companies still can have stock. It's just not publicly traded stock. Okay. So shoppable video, the ability for people to shop directly from video. That, like, this whole influencer marketing is dead. That's a whole lie. Influencer marketing as you know it may be dying, but it ain't going nowhere, because the next frontier is shoppable video. And that includes your services. At some point, hopefully it will include digital products. Right now, as far as being able to like TikTok shop affiliate in that, you can't do it through there. So, it does make it a little more challenging to sell your digital products, but there's still ways to do it. There's still ways to grow your email list and be able to offer your digital products that way. And you can still, help people and create that know, like, and trust through the affiliate products, because you're creating content anyway. That's the whole get paid to exist. And shoppable video is like inextricably intertwined. I love saying that, from getting paid to exist. Right? They just go together real bad. Like I say, Amazon and Pinterest go together real bad. Etsy and Pinterest go together real bad. And so if you are especially if you're moving any kind of weight from your iPhone with TikTok, it would behoove you to start getting those videos down without the logo and getting them over on Pinterest. Ooh, the things I know. The things I know, right? And yes, you can link it back to the TikTok video. You can link it, like, listen, I'm going to give you this for free. I'm going to tell you this one for free. So if you are a TikTok shop affiliate and you're a TikTok shop affiliate and you're moving weight, I'm pushing weight through my iPhone, or whatever Rick Ross was saying back in the day. I know we no longer like him. That video, and you own your master, right? You take that video and you can upload it to Pinterest and you can link it to the TikTok. You can also alter it, or without the logo, upload it to the Amazon influencer store. And then you can create another pin, as many other pins as you want, and link it to that same product on Amazon, because not everybody got TikTok. And you mitigate your loss in case TikTok is banned. You see how this works? You see how strategy works? If you're a Target affiliate, if it's available at Target, you can create a whole other bunch of pins that link to the same product on Target. But I think you're catching my drift. If you have your own product, like a book, for example, you can have that book available through the TikTok shop, right? So you can put the video on TikTok, download your master, upload your master to Amazon. If it's available on Amazon, it's now, are you seeing all these income streams? Are you getting this? So you've got it monetized on TikTok, you monetize it on Amazon, and then you link both to Pinterest. And some of y'all wonder why you ain't making no money. That's why you ain't making no money, because you don't got no strategy. Just saying. And I'm not about making it harder or making it more work, but you got to do what you got to do. If you can make money 24/7, 365 in your sleep, and making that same pin multiple times is too much for you, then you don't deserve to make any money. You don't. Because it can't get any easier than that. Think about it. You can make money 24/7, 365, including in your sleep, including from the bathtub, on a plane. These are all places that I've been sitting at my grandson's basketball game and made money without having to touch anything. I created it once and it keeps selling. And you're going to complain about, oh, it's too much work? Then you deserve whatever happens or don't happen. Because you got to do something. And the money ain't going to make itself. You got to do something. And if you can just take the same piece of content and just keep repurposing it, resharing it, and redistributing it, and it get in the hands of people you otherwise would not have been able to get that book in the hands of, or that product in the hands of, that never would have even known that you existed, whether you are a virtual business or a brick and mortar business. I don't understand what the problem is. No comprende. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. I would rather do that on any given day than the entire reason I have a bachelor's degree, a minor, and 2 master's degrees is because my grandfather, who was a hardworking man and built tractors for over 30 years, wasn't his only job, he did some work before that, but his breakthrough came building these tractors for 30 years. He retired early. And he would tell me stories about working in the factory. And if it was 90 degrees outside, inside the factory, it felt like 110 degrees. And that's, and he had a high school diploma. And he told me I was going to need more than a high school diploma. Now, where he was wrong and where I learned I was wrong was just because we got the degree and we were working in those offices, we might not have dealt with the exact same look and feel, but sometimes I think it might have even been worse. I'm just saying. It wasn't a happily ever after. And now we talk about things like Black women and workplace trauma and how it impacts your autoimmune system. And, you stack that, you layer that, and it compound it with epigenetics, and woo. And that's why I'm not there anymore. And I don't care who don't like it. But I would rather take being up all night creating a funnel, creating the sales pages, and doing all that over a weekend, and being able to make unlimited amounts of money without having to invest more of my time other than to go live. Are you kidding me? Then to have to get up at the butt crack of dawn and go work in if it's really hot in the winter, imagine what it's like when it's below zero outside in that factory building those tractors. Now, I don't know what it's like now because he ain't here and he ain't working there, so I don't know. But yeah, you got to do something. There's no true passive income, because even investing, you have to actively work to make the money unless you were born with generational wealth that you can tap into. You got to do something, right? Because a lot of people like to buy real estate and then come to find out they do not like being a landlord. They suck at being a landlord. So now they either got to sell the houses or they got to get and pay a management company. And if they pay a management company, they're going to make a lot less in a lot of cases than depending on the area, the rent, and all of that. It ain't for everybody, that's for sure. But when you look at the future of social media, you have to understand the importance of SEO. These are conversations I've been having for the past week. You got to have SEO in place. You've got to be discoverable. You have to show up where your would-be customer or client is looking for what you have for your solution. You got to come up, right? And the best way to do that is with content, your blog, and SEO, right? I've told the story numerous times this week about how I fell in love with Pinterest and I started using Pinterest for my business right away. And by accident, I found that I was ranking on Google through my pins. And so I went all in on Pinterest and I've been sold ever since. But you have to have SEO, right? And you have to understand the generational differences. Gen Z doesn't use Google. They use TikTok. Millennials probably use Instagram and YouTube for their search. So you have to know these things. Alpha is probably going to be ChatGPT or whatever comes next, right? I use Google a lot less. I use ChatGPT a whole lot more. So AI. So you have to be in position. I quote Wayne Gretzky. Let me pull it up so that I say it correctly. Wayne Gretzky quote about the puck. Skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And a lot of y'all want to be stuck on where it has been. Skate to where the puck is going to be. The puck is going to be shoppable video. The puck has always been and will continue to be at some sort of search or ask engine optimization where your client, your would-be client, those with high intent are actively looking for you. They're not just there scrolling, right? Pinterest has a lot of benefits. Pinterest does not require an immense amount of time, especially after the first 90 days to 180 days, 6 months, first 3 to 6 months. You're going to spend more time at it the first 3 to 6 months. And after that, it's going to get incrementally easier. And it's going to take a lot less of your time. And you're going to source it out and have a VA or a Pinterest manager do it. I'm not either. I'm a strategist. Right? But I guarantee you your VA or your Pinterest manager don't think like Tamara does, because very few people do. Statistically, less than 7% of the population can outthink me, but that's a different story. So you gotta skate to where the puck is going to be, not where the puck has been. That's the Wayne Gretzky quote, right? So where the puck is going to be, shoppable video. And you don't believe me? Gary Vee has been telling y'all the same thing. It is what it is. I've been telling you for years. And I've been talking to people who've been saying that to me. You've been saying this for years. Yeah, I have. I have S-Pen. I'm a little bit of a visionary. I see these things before everybody else does. So where the puck is going to be. Thank you. Thank you for the love, Jairus. Shoppable video. When I figured that out, right? When I figured out, oh God, I gotta sneeze. Is it gonna come out? Oh, there it is. Bless me. Thank you. TikTok Live. Gary is also saying this. Thank you, Jairus. I've been going live like crazy since last spring, actually last year this time on TikTok, because I finally figured it out. If you want to get in front of new people, TikTok Live is a great way to do it. TikTok Live will grow. It grows my account faster than anything else. TikTok Live, I promise you, I really don't want TikTok to go away because it is a great platform. It is a major piece of my strategy. But hear me, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. It is not my only strategy. If TikTok were to go away tomorrow, my business would be fine. Because by design, no one platform is gonna wipe me out. By design, I'm not gonna allow a platform to wipe me out. And I don't live in the land of that would never happen. That will never happen. You want to know why? Drop a 1 in the comments if you want to know why I will never say that, because there's a lesson here. Drop a 1 in the comments if you want to know why I will never say that, because I said that one time in my life. Jairus says 1. I see Wanza is here. Wanza says 1. Ryan dropping a 1. Melissa dropping a 1. Okay. So in, I don't know, 2008, 2009, I was working in financial services, and I had myself made a tremendous amount of money selling home equity loans and lines of credit. And we would always say this line, I can't remember the exact line, but it was basically that the housing market was never going to crash. And that because I worked for one of the largest 3 banks in the country, that it just was never going to happen. And then in 2009, while the company I worked for didn't go under, others did. The mortgage crisis, in fact, happened. And I learned a very good lesson. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was part of the closing script, because everybody kind of comes up with their own closing script. When you go buy a car, the people there, they have their system, they have their way they do it. They run their play every single time. It's just part of developing your habit and your consistency as a salesperson, right? And so there was some part of that. I can't remember exactly what, and then I would always say, but we know that's never going to happen, right? I think it had to do, I don't know, I'm not even going to try to pretend, but I know it was specifically with home equity lines of credit, right? And I had to eat those words. Whatever I said wouldn't happen, happened. And I wasn't the only one. A lot of us were. I actually picked the line up from somebody else. So a lot of us had to eat those words. And I learned to never say never. I mean, I'd been taught that by my parents and my grandparents, but you start to hear these things and you see the numbers and all of that. And yeah, people lie and they cheat and all kinds of stuff happens, and you're running around, quoting people, not knowing what's happening behind the scenes, and you get caught up. So that'll never happen to me again. So I'm not going to say ever that these platforms won't go under, or these platforms won't do this, or these platforms won't do that. Instead, I'm going to build my business so that no matter what happens, I'm going to minimize and mitigate my risk and protect myself, my business, and my livelihood as much as I can, right? As much as I can. And that includes my number 1 business partner, God. For the hater out there that's, well, you can't do this. Of course you can't. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't try. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have strategy. It doesn't mean you shouldn't care. Jeez. It doesn't mean lay over and play victim or do nothing because you're stuck in analysis paralysis. So shoppable video is where the puck is going to be. You have to position your business for where the puck is going to be. I get sad every time these local businesses are closing. And it's because number one, they're not marketing. They're not marketing. They're blaming the people. The people aren't coming in. What about the people don't know that you exist? And for the people that are coming in, are you asking them for referrals? What relationship are you building with them? How are you getting them to come back in? How are you getting further in their wallet? What campaigns are you running? Business, business is not for the weak. It's not for the faint at heart. It's just not. And that's okay because it can be very rewarding. You can build legacy. It can be for me, it's about the freedom, it's about the choices. At the end of the day, that's what it's about for me. So, shoppable video is the next opportunity. And if you are on TikTok Shop and you're not cross posting that content, not only to Amazon, like people don't even know Amazon has its own basically feed that looks like social media called Inspire. And they just launched this whole other area on their website, on the app, not the website, called Haul, where it's lower priced items for you to be able to go in and create like a haul. Like there is so much opportunity. People don't even know you can go live on Amazon. You can go live on Amazon, right? So it's not just putting it on TikTok, but you want to own your masters and you want to be cross-posting it to Amazon. You want to cross-post it if you're in the influencer program. You want to cross-post it to Pinterest and not just one time. You want to create this web, as I call it. I also use a web strategy with YouTube, but we ain't talking about that right now. You know, and people listen to me and they work with me, and it's like it's a lot. You're right, it's a lot. It could be, you know what else is a lot? Being on your 10th restructuring and 10th time being let go and maybe getting a severance package. It's going to be a lot either way. Choose your a lot. Choose your hard. It's going to be a lot either way. So which a lot do you prefer? And if you choose that other hard, more power to you. That's your business, not mine. But if you want to learn this way, if you want to do it this way, holla at your girl. Pin Profits Mastery, 6 modules. Walk you through the foundations, walk you through SEO and the algorithm, walk you through AI, shoppable video, resharing, repurposing, redistributing your content. It's a full funnel strategy. I was laughing with someone yesterday who was interested and we were chatting. And I said, you're going to laugh at this. It's a whole hog course from the rooter to the tutor. She was cracking up. I said, hey, my family's from Mississippi on both sides. So I'm paying homage to my roots. It's whole hog from the rooter to the tutor. Pinterest strategy. It's Pinterest today and it's Pinterest tomorrow. I haven't really had to make major updates to the course in 2 years because it was built with the vision of Pinterest in mind. How did you do that, Tamira? I read the annual reports. I sat in on the investor calls. I'm a Pinterest partner. So they have calls where they're educating us as creators and partners. And I listened to all of that. And so I created not just Pinterest today, but where Pinterest is going, where the puck is going to be. And it's not just Pinterest, it is the future of social media marketing altogether. Remember, because I've been doing this, the 5 shifts in marketing that you need to know now, which was really a core presentation, a signature presentation aimed at boomers who are still doing business like it's 2000 or 1996 in some cases. That's who that presentation was created for. And anyone who wants to know where the puck is going to be. SEO. All right, when you look at that presentation, the modules in Pin Profits Mastery line up with that presentation. Because I am a strategist. I'm not an ops girl masquerading as a marketing strategist. I'm an actual marketing I'm just a strategist, period. It was created in alignment to be a natural segue. My lead magnets lead somewhere. That's why they're called, there is not just about collecting leads. They should lead to the next logical step. And y'all just be having stuff all over the place because you be listening to this person and that person and that person and that person when you just need to get with the right one. And I'm biased, but you need to just get with the right one and stick to the strategy. But y'all don't, some people don't like that because y'all want to be, y'all want to make one post and make $1 million. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Going viral is not a strategy. It's often the worst thing to happen to a business. Going viral, and it can mess up your entire account. I have an Instagram with a post that went viral in India for whatever reason. It went viral in India, and it took the account from like 100 followers to over 1,000, I think, of people that I had no offer for. And it wasn't the hashtags, it wasn't the caption. I don't know what it was, but the video went viral, over 15 million views, and it was in India. And I had no offer for those people. So going viral is not a strategy. When you go viral the right way, it is the sum of your efforts. It's the consistency. It's the doing it the same thing over and over again. When I spoke to the divorce transition professionals, that was one of the compliments that I got, that, I'm really good at saying the same thing different ways, because I understand frequency. I understand that people have to hear things repeatedly, 7 times, 7 ways. So you have to know that. And then you have to do something about it, because information plus application equals transformation. And I don't know why, but people think buying a course, buying the information is going to affect the transformation. And it's like, no, you got to actually go in and you got to watch the modules. You got to, because here's the thing with Pin Profits Mastery. It's 6 modules, right, that were recorded over 6 weeks. The videos range from 20 minutes to about an hour. I think one might be about an hour and a half. I'm sorry, but it's good. And the good thing is you get the transcript. So you can download the transcript. And I ain't going to tell you what you can do with it, but you can download the transcript, right? You get a workbook. The workbook walks you through everything that I'm teaching in the module, so you can fill it out and do what you need to do. Like, it's the shortcut. It's the shortcut to the shortcut. Right? You get an SEO guide. You get a style guide, how to come up with your Pinterest aesthetic, what your Pinterest aesthetic is going to be, down to font pairings, down to colors, right? There are times when I offer bonuses like Pinterest templates, template audits, strategy sessions. Sarah, hey girl, hey. No idea what you're saying, but you know what you're talking about. You're so funny and cute. I appreciate you, girl. Sarah and I went to grade school together, probably middle school together, and we graduated high school together. That's why I love social media, There are people that I would know nothing about them or what they were doing in life right now if it weren't for social media. So we reconnected on Facebook, and she found me here on the Clock app too. And so she's a great support, and I appreciate her. So hopefully when she comes to town again next, we can go catch a drink, have dinner or something. She's cool people. So yeah, it's 6 modules. You get the video instruction, you get the workbooks, you get the transcripts, and you get the community. The community is where the money is to me, because you get to interact with myself. We can. Thank you. You're welcome. You get the community, right? You get the community, you get to network with the community, you get to learn from the community, and I still actively answer questions in the community. And you never know, I might turn it where your question into a video, and I might pop up and say, hey, let's do office hours this weekend. But there are recorded office hours in there. There's so much in there, right? And I get that it may be overwhelming, but the key is, just like anything, you go in and how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's what you do. You can get traffic. Because remember, here's the key to making money online. You need a high converting offer, and you need traffic. And Pinterest is the place to put your high converting offer, and you can drive traffic to it off of Pinterest. But now, because of Amazon, because of Etsy and the technology, you can drive traffic right to the offer within Pinterest and get it paid for and fulfilled right from within Pinterest. That's where the puck is going. Shoppable video. I told the story about how I get full fast, though. Me too. And I actually don't drink all that much, but I'll have a drink with you, girl. We can hang out. I tell the story of how in high school, because I always worked and had my own money, I was all about some home shopping network. It came with like cable, like it was like just a standard channel. You didn't even have to pay for it to be like, it was like one of them cable channels, like the channel where we used to watch prom and stuff. There was like a shopping channel. And that's where I used to buy my gold chains and bracelets from. Home Shopping Network and QVC better be coming up with an app and live streaming in ASAP. Like yesterday. Because that's what shoppable video is. And that's what I was saying earlier. When you look at some of these TikTok shop affiliate lives, they're very much giving Home Shopping Network, HSN, and QVC vibes. Oh my God, love our prom videos. Is an elephant white or dark meat? Girl, I have no idea. Is it pink? I have no idea. You are still funny. Oh my God, I ran into Mr. Frontier not too long ago, and he was asking about when we did, if I was one of the students that went to camp, and that's like one of my favorite memories ever. In the 5th grade, when we were getting ready to go to middle school, and we all went to camp. That was so much fun. I will never forget that. So, shoppable video, Wayne Gretzky. I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. That is where a lot of local businesses struggle. They are so busy being where the puck was. Like, I'm sorry, this only spending cash, only wanting to take cash, those businesses are not going to be around, because you don't want, I'm on that tangent again, because you don't want to pay the card processing fees. Raise your prices, include it in your pricing. Make it easy for people to do business with you. Do you remember those old commercials? It wasn't even like, I remember it happened to me at Walgreens, but it wasn't like a Walgreens commercial. I think it was like a bake commercial or something, where everybody's in line and they're like dancing and everything's moving like a well-oiled machine, and everything comes to a screeching halt. because instead of using their credit or debit card, somebody wants to write a check. That's where the puck has been. The credit and debit card really isn't even where it is going. Where it is right now is like Apple Pay, Venmo, Cash App. God only knows where it's going to be. But when you limit yourself and try to incentivize and hold on to, oh, cash, 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 because we don't want to pay the card processing fees, you need a marketing strategy. You need a marketing strategy to come up with your offer and your pricing and packaging it so that the customer loves to do it and they get to pay their favorite way, the way that they want to do it. Where is work? Where I work, we don't charge credit card fees, but a lot of people do up here. Also, up here, I offer cash for a discount. Yeah, you can definitely do that. But there are businesses that just refuse to take the cards because they don't want to pay the fee. And I like that you offer the discount for cash, meaning you're not going to charge them for the fee because they're paying cash. I think that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And that is good business. And that is what makes people want to do business with you and keep coming back. But I've seen people like jump through hoops. Like, I'm not giving up my wire transfer information for less than $25,000. I'm just not. I'm not doing wire transfer for $25. Baby, I'm just not. I'll charge you $27 and you can use your card. Like, seriously. Oh, hell no. Exactly. But there are people, small business owners, that's their thinking. Oh, I don't want the people to have to pay a higher price and I don't want to have to pay the fee. So we'll do a wire transfer. First of all, I worked at a bank. You only get free wire transfers with certain accounts, which means you have to have a really high balance. There are balance requirements to get those free wire transfers. This is a capitalist society. It's capitalism. You got to play the capitalism game. And hey, I don't play that hyper capitalism, hyper individualism over here. But the reality is it's capitalism. And if people, the best thing and the worst thing that happened to us is Uber Eats and DoorDash, because they got us paying $20 and $25 for McDonald's. You see what I'm saying? So when people really want it, they're going to pay it. People get real crafty. What about Venmo? Yeah, you can do Venmo. The company that I work with for my payment processing has multiple options. So they can do Cash App, they can do Venmo. I just believe in, honestly, Sarah, like I said, make it easy for people to do business with you, right? So if you have like a brick and mortar face-to-face type situation, I've always accepted PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and that. But you just might want to not use your personal. You might want to set up the business side of Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and that, right? Zelle or whatever. And like I said, when someone pays me now through Cash App, they can just do it through the same sales page. I'm not sending them my actual personal Cash App. It's Cash App talking to my payment processor. That's a great question. Just make it easy for people to do business with you. And also, by the way, now Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, those come with debit cards too. And you can use them in your Apple Wallet, your Android wallet, or whatever they call it, and use your phone and pay too. I remember like 10 years ago, the big thing was, being able to just tap your card. Well, that escalated quickly, and now it's just use your phone, right? But you've got to position your business, whether virtual, in person, brick and mortar, to where the puck is going to be, the future. So it doesn't give out. Yeah, it doesn't give out my info. It doesn't give out my info. No. And I do have Venmo. I use it more so like personally and for transactions, but sometimes I use it to pay for things, right? But I also keep my transaction history private on Venmo because I'm just weird like that. That ain't nobody business. Don't nobody need to know who paying me and who I'm paying. Politicians been getting caught up because of that. I was like, oh hell no, when I first joined Venmo and I turned it off. Even when I was a trainer for the cosmetics and skincare company that I trained with several years ago and flew all over the country, had a blast. You know, a lot of other trainers would only like take checks or cash. And one of the reasons my trainings filled up and sold out across the country was not just because I'm that girl, but because it was very systematized. Everybody prepaid, wasn't gonna be no spending an hour getting people registered and all that. You prepaid and you was either on the list or you won. And if you wasn't, here's the link, you can pay and boom, have a seat. I'll gladly pay the fee. I'll gladly pay that fee and have a sold out room of 25 than 2 or 3 people. I'll gladly pay that fee. That's how my big brain works. Makes sense, says Sarah. Sarah, what do you do? What you do, girl? Where do you work? Talk to me so I can drink a little bit. Just electrolytes. Oh, it's so good. So, Hidden Profits Mastery is a 6-module course. If you are on any platform focused on short form video, especially as an affiliate marketer, there is absolutely no reason why you should not have a Pinterest strategy. I work at Stonehenge Golf Course, server bartender. Very cool. Very cool. I've had some great times on the golf course. I have a liberal arts undergrad, so I had to take 2 credits of PE, actual physical education, and I chose golf because I think strategically. And boy, was it a good move because I went to so many golf courses. I went to so many golf tourneys in my career. As a vet, was a vet tech, didn't pay as well. I can imagine. You said country club. I know you at a golf course, and you cute too. I know you're getting paid, girl. I know you are. So yeah, I took golf as my elective for PE, and I actually learned how to play the game. And I'm so glad. So when I went to these golf tournaments, I knew what was up. And people were impressed that I knew what I was doing and knew how to play the game. Doesn't mean I was great at it. But yeah, yeah. My biggest challenge was the girls. And people were like, "You're not swinging a bat." I'm like, "I know, but my titties are in the way." So, got a little help there, but I knew the rules. I knew how to score and knew that stuff. I knew how the scoring worked. I knew what an eagle, a bogey, par and all that meant because I took it in college. So, and now my dad loves golf. He golfs as much as he can. We don't see him on Fridays during the summer. He's all golfing with his buddies. So you got to know where the puck is going to be. And when it comes to social media marketing, you have to understand these shifts, right? You have to understand and embrace AI. You have to understand and know that e-commerce and, e-commerce strategies are not optional anymore, right? You have to know that shoppable video is going to be the future. You have to know that these algorithms, like I said, they've been constricting, they've been contracting because these platforms are publicly traded companies. They have shareholders. They have market capitalizations and all these other things that I went through earlier and talked about. You've got to become financially literate. You have to know how banking works, right? And you have to know how banking works now that most people don't write checks. You have to know what the automated clearinghouse is, ACH is, right? You have to know there's this big fintech, financial technology companies. So things like Cash App and that aren't actually banks. They're not actually banks. Chime is not an actual bank. It's a fintech, right? Those are actually some of the, I can't say that, but look them up as far as stocks. I'll say that. But financial literacy. If you're working at a publicly traded company, you need to learn to read those annual reports. You need to sit in on those quarterly calls. You need to be learning. If you're interviewing for a company, you want to, okay, when I talk about marketing and sales no longer being optional skills, you want to stand out against the competition, go into an interview and know a little something about the company and be able to relate it to you, your experience, and why you would be a good hire. And when you do, and you get that sign-on bonus, I want my cut. Then I'll give you my Cash App or my Venmo to send me my cut. Good night, girl. Thanks for joining. I'm going to want my cut. Don't play me. Send me just give me my money. Just give me my money. My grandbaby was singing that one day. Just give me my money. Right? Pinterest is a monetizable platform. If you own your masters and you're getting your masters from TikTok, why are you not reposting, resharing, and redistributing that content and monetizing it multiple ways? This is what I mean when I say you are the brand, you are the content, you are the algorithm, and the content is already in your phone. Because you own your masters. So why are you only monetizing it that one time? Why are you not taking that same piece of content and monetizing it as many ways as you can and making as much as you can along the way? Work smarter, not harder. Okay? Pen Profits Mastery. It's only $555 while I'm live. It is a $1,200 course. Full funnel, whole hog, rooted to the tutor. It's got $2,200 worth of bonuses in there off top. And you can break it up into at least 4 payments with Klarna or Afterpay. And sometimes, depending on who you are, they'll give you 6 months financing. I know there are people who got 6 months financing on it. I can't guarantee it. I don't even know how they did it, but they did. So just keep that in mind. And I'm going to get ready to go because my nose is starting to run. But I'm going to get ready to go, and it's time to take my collagen and stuff. So I will be back live probably tomorrow. I don't know. Tomorrow's Friday. Fridays lives usually don't do well, but I might come back. I might come back tomorrow, and because I see y'all really like those multi-minerals, which, by the way, it's time for me to take that too. So I might come live tomorrow and talk about the multi-mineral gummies. Right. But TikTok Shop, I love it. I'm loving it. But you better believe I'm taking that same content and putting it on other platforms. All right. So I will say good night, and I will see you in the next live.